What is up, my beautiful guys, girls, gays, and theys? Welcome back to I Said What I Said. Yay! Guys, I haven't sat down and recorded in must be 3 weeks. 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Yeah. A little bit of time, quite a while. I had a little bit of a break from social media, podcast. I went on holiday. Whoop, whoop. It was so fun, guys. I went away with my two besties, Emily and Serena. It was the first time I went on a beach holiday in a really long time. I'm much more of a city girl. I love New York. Well, yes, of course. New York is just for the dolls. I can't lie. New York, Thailand. Yeah, I want to go to Thailand actually. But I went on a beach holiday and it was really, really, really lovely. I love the sun. I didn't think I was a seagull, swimming in the sea, but I couldn't get out of the sea. I was just I'm free in the sea. Do you know what I mean? And it was just really gorgeous. Am I tanned as well? I think I look. Listen, I don't tan very easily. I'm gonna be so real. My face tans really easily, but my body doesn't. I'm also quite cautious of going in the sun because I do have melanoma gene in my family. I've actually had it before, which is skin cancer, which is kind of deep. I can't lie. Do you remember when Olivia Neal posted that TikTok being I have skin cancer? And it was really sad, and everyone was OMG, don't die. Girl, okay, I've had skin cancer twice. My mum has had it 5 times. It literally runs in my family. If you catch it early, it's not deep. You just got to protect your skin. At the end of the day, everyone got to protect their skin. It's very important. So obviously I was wearing a very high SPF in the sun. It was 32 degrees. Also, Editor Poppy, insert photos of me on holiday from my Instagram. How hot am I? So cute, so sexy, so stunning, so gorge. Yeah, it was a really fun holiday, but it kind of made me think about a few things. Traveling while being trans is possibly one of the most anxiety-inducing experiences ever, especially with what's going on right now. I want to unpack this, gender identity representation while traveling, because I think it's kind of a little bit of an unspoken topic in a way, because I get really stressed out when I travel, depending on where I'm going, a beach holiday even more, for many reasons, so many reasons. And I wanted to speak about that today. But before we get into that, I want to do my song of the week. Is probably New York by Addison Rae. Basically the whole Addison Rae album just came out. She ate the fuck down, in my personal opinion. I think some people get it, some people don't. The people that get Addison are, with it, I think, because she's living a moment. She's representing a moment. It's a moment. It's so chic. She's so chic. Yeah, I love all of the songs. Definitely Money Is Everything, New York, Summer Forever. Such cute bangers. I love her so much. And I love that all of the songs are female created by her and these 2 other girls that she produces with. They're really fucking cool. But yeah, that's my song of the week. But yeah, let's get into it. I have my notes on my phone. Do you want my new case as well? Also, I'm sure many of you are going to relate to this. If you are trans, you are going to relate to the things that I am about to say. Okay? But first, I want to start off with the obvious. Airports, security, and identification. Okay? Personally, I am very lucky. I had my passport changed when I was 16 to my name and my female gender. So when it comes to passports for me, I'm pretty okay. I know right now it's really difficult to get a passport. I know what's happening in the US. Poppy, you could even maybe insert the video of Hunter Schafer speaking about how her passport, she had to order a new one and it said male on it.
I saw it on my new passport.
Hunter Schafer, trans A-list celebrity, has a passport that says male on it because of the Trump administration, whatever. Actually wild. But yeah, a lot of trans girls don't have a passport that says their represented gender on them. So, which is awful. It's really sad. I think identification is one of the most validating parts of being trans. And when it comes to airport security, it's also it's also really scary. I think depending on like where you are, what country you're going to, you know, especially with like the laws going on right now about, you know, security being able to just strip search a trans person if they think something is like off. I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, when I was at the airport, I was definitely a little bit stressed. Even though like my passport literally says female, I think it's just still like a thing in my head. Like, do I look passing enough right now? Am I gonna have an issue at security? Like the hormones that are in my carry-on luggage, like, is that going to cause an issue? Like, definitely, probably not. But like, it's just all the things that goes through my head. You know, there are trans people that may have a passport that supports their representation or not, or you know, they may have a body that might trigger alarms in a way more than someone else, which is, you know, a scary thought when going through security. It's almost like every like scanner that you go through is a little bit of a gamble. Like, will they randomly select you, or will they call you by your wrong pronouns in front of everyone? These are things that trans people get stressed out about. When I was younger, oh my god, I used to get so nervous because like when I like first started transitioning, it was also when I wasn't like, you know, super passing and stuff like that. I don't think I was that like clocky. I think it was more just like I wasn't selling the fantasy, that's for sure. So traveling back then was also really scary. Like, you know, just being asked to step aside or being touched and stuff like that is like a scary thing. Like, these aren't paranoid thoughts. They're real, common, sometimes can be violent, and it's not. And it's one of the, like, the first parts of stress I think about traveling as a trans girl. And it's not really just about like the machines when going through security. It's the people behind them. Some people might be kind. Many just want to get through their shift and keep it moving, and some will treat your body like it's something suspicious, something broken or something wrong. I mean, it really does depend on the person, and their own like personal beliefs. You learn to dress a certain way when going to the airport or like traveling in like the actual travel bit before you get to your destination. I definitely do. I avoid wearing lots of makeup or like a lot of it, depending on where you are. And like calculating your passability in a way, like it's a tactical decision, not self-expression, in a sense. Like, should I dress passing? Like, I was considering, like, when I was going to the airport, I was like, originally my outfit was like a really baggy tee, like baggy trousers, really nothing special. And I was thinking to myself, wait, I might change and like literally wear a tank top so I can like show my like boobs in a way, so I'm like less clocky. That's literally what was going through my head. You know, you think about so many things and like you're just trying to get somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, and like everyone else gets to worry about like missing their flight, but you know, you're worried about being misgendered by a stranger with latex gloves. Like, that's literally what I was stressed about. Yeah, that's like my first thought on traveling and being trans. I want to talk about documents as well, like ID, birth certificates, passport, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, for many trans women, like, as I said, most paperwork doesn't really catch up to who we are. At least not immediately when you transition. Like, some countries make it nearly impossible to change your name or gender marker without surgeries, legal battles, or literally public humiliation. Like, it's wild. It is wild. Like a piece of little paper. You know, why should it be so difficult? So what do you do when your ticket says one name, you know, and your face, your voice, your whole being says something else? It's a really scary thought, you know? Like, you smile more than you feel, you apologize for existing before anyone even accuses you of it. Sometimes you can get through, like, without incidents, and sometimes you get, like, the look. I've had the look multiple times. I think if you're trans, you'll understand what I mean. Like, the look is the, like, that's the look. Like, you know, like the up and down, like staring at the parts of your body that would show if you're a woman or not. How crazy is that? Sorry. Like literally, you know what I'm talking about. Looking at your chest and looking at down there. See if anything like points you out. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think, you know, for a lot of trans girls that don't have identification that matches their representation, it's a little bit of a struggle. I want to speak about where it's kind of safe to travel and how this really goes into decision making as a trans person that's going to be doing some traveling. You know, if you're cisgendered, you might pick a destination based on, like, you know, how pretty the beaches are, or whether the food is good, the weather, all of these kind of things, like experiences that you want to do. If you're a trans woman, especially a trans woman of color, you definitely ask yourself, like, can I be myself there? Will I be safe? Is me being me gonna cause an issue in this area? And that is really scary. That is really, really scary. Like, there are countries where being trans is criminalized. Straight up. There are countries where you can be arrested for your clothes, you know? There are cities where hotels won't let you check in. Like, there are towns where gas station stops could turn into a nightmare. Like, it's literally, there's so much that could go into it. Do you know what I mean? And you search, like, me personally, like, I've searched Reddit threads, travel blogs written by, like, people like me. Like, I've DM'd strangers before being like, is this a safe place for me to be? These are all, like, parts that I think about. Like, is it really that bad for me to go there? Can I, you know, if I am queer or gay or whatever, can I hold my boyfriend's hand, or can I, like, in public in this space? Do you know what I mean? Is it worth the risk? Essentially. And these are a lot of things that I think about when traveling. It's why I tend to go to places that, like, I know I'll be okay. At the end of the day, regarding trans people, trans women in particular, I don't think anywhere is safe right now in the whole world. I think there could be a few places, but even those places, there is always a risk of danger. There is always a risk of violence, usually at the hands of men. And yeah, these are, like, important things that I'm always thinking about. Sometimes I found myself just, like, not even going because I was scared. Like, I'm going to give you a little anecdote, example. When I was leaving sixth form, a lot of my friends were going interrailing, and that was something that I always wanted to do. Like, I thought it would have been really fun for me to go. Don't get me wrong, I'm a little bit of a brat. So, I don't know if I can say in hostels. That sounds really bad of me, but, like, maybe I'll just force myself to one day. But a lot of my friends were going interrailing, and I was kind of jealous because I wanted to go, but I was, you know, still, like, only about, like, a year or so into my transition, and, like, actually, no, I was, like, 2 years into my transition, and I was feeling, like, a little bit scared. Like, I was like, I don't think I look good enough to, like, go to, like, 30 different countries right now, cities, whatever, and feel safe. I really don't. And it was scary because, like, and really kind of sad. Like, I feel like I missed out on a lot of situations. I did end up going away with a few friends, but to, like, safe places, do you know what I mean? That I knew wasn't going to be many troubles. And, like, we would either be staying in, like, a hotel or, like, an Airbnb. So, and also not for as long as interrailing. These were all, like, thoughts that I had. And I definitely, like, missed out on, like, a few really, like, good, crucial experiences. I mean, there's times where I've stopped myself doing multiple things regarding traveling just because I didn't feel comfortable within myself, and I knew that there could be issues. But when it comes to traveling as a trans woman, there is definitely the little victories that goes into it, 100%. There's always a moment, like a rare one, where you literally breeze through security. No one stares at you. Hotel check-in is completely okay. You know, everyone's calling you by your correct pronouns. You walk down the street in a new place and you feel invisible. That is an excellent feeling, a beautiful feeling. It feels like flying, literally. That's how I felt on holiday this year. I did feel like I wasn't bringing much attention to myself. I was trying not to. Don't get me wrong, some of the men couldn't get enough of me. Period. But I wasn't into it because I'm not into men right now. I'm not into women either. I wish I was, but I'm just not into anything right now because I'm tired of men. But we can get into that in another episode. But even then, there is a tax. There's this, like, you know, cost of awareness about it. Like, your joy is a little bit more calculated. Like, feeling good just feels a little bit fake in a way sometimes. Like, you know, you learn these kind of, like, code words to do with it, like gender inclusive. Like, you memorize maps, like which airport has, like, you know, maybe for non-binary people, like gender neutral bathrooms. Like, you develop these kind of, like, superpowers in a way, like reading people's faces or like diffusing tension. Like, these are all parts that trans people just have ingrained in their heads when it comes to traveling, when it comes to experiences, which takes away from the joy, of truly traveling. I mean, if you're constantly worried about what is happening or what could happen to you or how you should be acting, you know, that pressure is going to take away from truly enjoying yourself. Essentially, I have become fluent in the language of safety. Literally, I'm bilingual, girls. Like, I know what it means to be safe. I know how to be safe as a trans person. And it kind of leads me on to, I guess, the right to wonder. Do you know what I mean? Wonder meaning like travel and go places and stuff like that. Like, why should we keep traveling? Why should we? Why should we have these experiences? Because despite everything, trans people deserve adventure. And that is the truth. You know, we deserve romance, spontaneity, jet lag, airplane food, like all of these kind of things, like stamps on our passport. You know, we deserve joy that isn't always just about survival. And I think that's the thing that you got to try to remember. Like, if you are young, if you are trans, if you are old, if you are trans, you know, whatever, middle-aged, anything, doesn't matter. Whatever, whoever the fuck you are, you deserve to travel. You deserve to experience things. I want to travel more. I really, really, really want to travel more. I'm going to try to save some more money. I really want to go to Japan. I really want to go to South Korea. I'm sure you guys know this. I want to see places. I really want to see places. I want to travel for work. I want to feel comfortable traveling for work and stuff like that. These are all, parts that are really important to me. I mean, like, I know this is a little bit of a unrelatable thing, but I don't know if you're aware, but like a lot of influencers go on like brand trips. I've never been on a brand trip in my life. Never been invited on a brand trip. Bear in mind. Like, I've been invited to go do things as an influencer, but I've never been invited as on a brand trip, like to a different country. But like me, maybe like a year ago even if I was invited, would probably say no, because I would be nervous about being a trans person there, being unrelatable to other people. These are all like really scary thoughts, like that goes into it. Do you know what I mean? We should be able to travel because we can. And that's really important. I mean, the airports are open, the trains are available, like you can buy a ticket. So what's stopping you? Do you know what I mean? It's really important. We must experience things because our identities don't end at a border. They really don't, and they shouldn't. Like, if you're listening to this and you felt that same like pressure and like in your chest when you're at like an airport gate, or like a knot in your stomach when you're traveling, when you're scared to do certain things, I really see you, and I hope you get to see the world. I really do. You deserve to see the world. There's so many beautiful things to see, and there's so many beautiful things to do, people to meet. And just because of your identity should never stop you from having those experiences. I also want to quickly talk about like when I was on holiday. A little thing that stressed me out as well was basically tucking for about a week straight. Actually was really is not good for you. This goes out to trans men as well who bind, or going to a hot climate specifically. I actually, by the end of my holiday, was like suffering from really bad pain. Because, I was wearing bikinis, and like, I know some trans girls who literally don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, who will like wear, like, not tuck, all of this kind of stuff. Me personally, I don't think I was in a country that was like particularly safe enough to do something like that. Maybe if I was literally in a private beach. But, no, I was not about to do that. I was in public, and, I'm already giving such a fantasy, in my opinion. Like, every single part of my body matches, maybe a little bit apart from that. I've never really spoken about this on the podcast before, but I don't really care. I mean, I've given advice when it comes to like tucking and stuff like that on my like TikTok and Instagram before, but I was actually dealing with like a really bad pain by the end of the holiday because I was in a bikini for almost like 10 hours a day. That is not good for you. You should not be in tuck for that long every day for 6 days. Don't get me wrong, like when I'd be back at the hotel room, like I wouldn't, but like it's just more like I was really upset by the end of the holiday because I was like in a lot of pain like on the last night, and I was thinking to myself, like, I can't believe I have to like kind of like, it's not, I wouldn't call it like mutilation, but like I can't believe I have to do this to myself in order not even to please others at this point. Yeah, maybe it is a little bit to please others, but it's just to protect myself. And it's not fun to like do that, like professional drag queens. Yeah, I don't know how they do that with like duct tape and like for like so long. Like, it's wild. Like, I've spoken to some drag queens about it, and like I know people that have had like really bad like effects from like tucking for so long. I know a lot of trans girls that are so incapable of like knowing what's down there that they literally sleep in their tuck. That is wild. That is so dangerous. It can really be bad for your circulation, and it's really bad for you. Also to trans men or non-binary people that don't like assign with a specific gender that may bind. I want to like really remind you that as it gets hotter in the summer, if you are traveling, you need to give yourself the time to not be blinded. You know, if you are pre-top surgery, you really, really, really need to remember that, because you can get really bad like heat stroke from that kind of thing. It's not good to be super hot and also binded, you know, putting a lot of pressure on your chest. So obviously when you feel safe and feel comfortable to do so, I wouldn't recommend binding for that long. These are all just like, and same goes for tucking. These are all things I want to speak to trans people specifically about, non-confirming gender people as well. These are really important factors when it comes to the summer in particular. So I wanted to do that little heads up because I had quite a bad experience. I was literally in bed for like 2 hours because I was literally like my stomach hurt. Like it was just not. I actually put on my broadcast channel. If you're not joined on my broadcast channel, it's called The Real Ones. You can access it on my Instagram. By the way, I didn't have broadcast channels for so long. I didn't have access to that feature for so long, and it was so sad. But now I do. Now I do. So I have a broadcast channel. There's actually like quite a lot of people on there, and it's really, really, really fun. And I literally post hot photos on there. What else do I do on there? Like I give you updates. Like we have little kikis on the broadcast channel. So yeah. I wanted to speak about some things that someone mentioned to me today, actually, a little bit of a story about how they had a little bit of an experience while traveling. Texting you for your podcast, I didn't educate myself on how unsafe it was to travel to Dubai as a trans person. And I only realized this when I was on the plane to Dubai, LMAO. It was a connection flight to Thailand. I do think I passed as a cis woman, but essentially what I did was cry for 3 hours on the flight straight, and I was so terrified. I fully had a whole thing where I literally prepared to die and accepted death or life, imprisonment or deportation for being trans. I don't know if this person specifically has their passport changed, but from what I'm guessing, maybe not. So what I did, carrying on the story, is dressed up completely in men's clothes, tied my hair in a low ponytail, and lowered my voice when talking, but I didn't really talk much. I fully pulled a Mulan whilst in Dubai airport because my passport still says male. All I could think was that I don't have to get prosecuted for cross-dressing if technically I'm dressing with what I was assigned at birth. The whole thing, I was literally prepared to die. It was traumatizing, and I hope I don't have to experience that again. So that is definitely a story. I do know that there are some issues in Dubai, I believe. I'm not completely aware of like the actual laws, but I have heard a few things. Honestly, I know a lot of trans girls that do this kind of thing. I know a lot of trans girls that will dress in the opposite gender for the purpose of safety. Like, for the purpose of safety, because, you know, they're still able to kind of like switch in between. I mean, I know the person that sent me this, I know them personally, and they are one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. So I'm not sure if they look like a man when dressing up like a man. I really don't think they would have. Yeah. I know a lot of trans girls that will do this kind of thing just to kind of protect themselves or kind of avoid an issue. Because they don't feel like they're at like a moment in their transition where they can like pass fully enough to just like get away with it and go through everything really easily. So yeah, it's kind of like a little like trick that trans people do. Honestly, if you thought it was a good idea, it was a good idea. I'm glad that you were okay. I love you so much, girl. You know who you are. I've got another one. I'm not trans and definitely not transphobic. I hope so. And once saw a trans woman passing by an older woman literally closing her child's eyes so he can't see the trans girl, acting like she is shameful. And the poor girl didn't do anything and neither could I. Worst part is that she was really beautiful and probably got really affected by that move. I'm not promoting the fact to explain these complex concepts such as transitioning to children, but respect is still due. That's, I think, you know, do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of what would you do? Like, I don't know if you've seen, I remember watching a what would you do episode. I used to be obsessed with them, of like a trans woman in a clothing store, and they were all actors, and the person behind the cashier desk was like, you can't shop here, this is for women. And a lot of the women that were in the store like really defended her and was like screaming at the like cash desk person. And this kind of reminds me of that, like, what would you do if you saw something like that? I don't think this was a type of situation where you had to do anything. At the end of the day, like, if a mother of her child will do what she thinks is best for her child, obviously that's what happened is simply not necessary. It's got nothing to do with them. But I think these are things that we can't really change. I think when someone is so screwed in their perception, they will teach that to the people in their family, essentially. If they think that that's the way it is, obviously that trans person totally did not deserve that. And yeah, but thank you for telling me that story. It is quite interesting. Anyways, guys, I think that's kind of all we have time for today. I've loved speaking about this topic. Being trans and traveling is really important. If you're trans and you want to travel, I'd love to hear some of your stories, or if you've been traveling, like what helped, what hurt, what you enjoyed, what gave you hope. Let me know down in the comments. You can DM me too, join the broadcast channel. Because in a world that wants to limit our movement and our joy and our existence, every step we take is an act of defiance, in my opinion, and love. Basically, until next time, take care of yourself, seriously. And enjoy the summer. Go on holiday. Go do something good for yourself. Seriously. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.